I don't think I'm gonna make it through this. Like, I think I'm gonna die in here. I'm gonna burn to death in here. I'm scared. I'm scared, scared, scared.
Tonight, we are hearing from the woman whose life was saved during a heroic rescue. An off-duty police officer and a firefighter pulled her from a burning truck after a crash on the US 60. Good evening, and thanks so much for joining us. For 12 News at 10, I'm Kariba Devine.
I'm Mark Curtis. Those first responders, you may remember, were here in studio with us last night at 10. And now this woman is ready to share her side of the story. 12 News journalist Gabriela Becerra is live in studio with how she's doing. Gabby?
Well, Amy tells me she's physically okay. She walked away from that fire with burnt hair and a few scrapes, but she says the crash changed her life forever.
911 emergency.
Hi, there was just an accident on the 60.
Amy Ruiz has now watched this video hundreds of times.
I couldn't believe that I survived that.
It's her reminder that life is precious.
There were so many people willing to help get me out.
After dropping her kids off at school on Tuesday morning, Ruiz took her normal route on the US 60. As she braked for traffic near Val Vista Drive, she says the cement mixer behind her didn't.
That's when I just clenched onto the steering wheel so hard and just closed my eyes and just was ready to take the impact.
That cement mixing truck slams into Ruiz's pickup truck. Her truck flips over and instantly catches fire.
I just started thinking about my kids and my husband and how they're gonna live without me. How are they gonna live without me if I burn in this truck right now?
Less than a minute later, Chandler police officer Brian Larison rose up on his motorcycle. He was on his way to work.
I seen the officer come and break the window, and that right there was just such relief, hearing the window break. I knew at that moment I was getting closer to being saved.
Ruiz now has one leg out the window, but the truck flips back onto all four wheels, pushing her back inside.
That's when my hair caught on fire and everything, my eyelashes are completely gone.
The flames inched closer as smoke filled the truck.
I closed my eyes so tight because there's so much fire and smoke, and that's when I tried to reach my way back to the open window, and I felt the firefighter's arms, and I held on, and that's when he pulled me right out.
That was Peoria firefighter Asa Bagia. He also just happened to be on his way to work.
I just remember just holding on to the officer so tight. So tight when he was telling me that he had me and that he's got me. It just was so comforting. I knew right then and there I was saved, and just watching my truck burn there, that could have been me.
Ruiz is now home safe with her husband and 3 kids.
Probably one of the best feelings ever, for sure, being rescued like that.
All thanks to 2 people who happened to be in the right place at the right time.
I can't thank them enough for my life. I'm sure they're going to hear that for the rest of their lives, and they're going to hear that they're angels and they're heroes.
Ruiz did lose her truck and everything inside, but she says those are materialistic things, and she knows they can be replaced. Caribe?
An incredible story. Thank you so much, Gabby. Developing tonight in Chandler, crews are investigating a fire that completely destroyed a home near Elliott and Alma School roads. Fire crews from Chandler, Gilbert, Mesa, and Tempe were all on scene to get the flames under control. Chandler Fire tells 12 News that the house, unfortunately, is a total loss. The homeowner and a neighbor were taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation.
Tonight, a federal agent accused of recklessly shooting and killing a fellow agent during a training exercise was found not guilty. IRS Special Agent Larry Edward Brown Jr. was acquitted of all charges for the death of Special Agent Patrick Bauer. Tonight, Brown is speaking with us about that verdict. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly is live outside the federal court in Phoenix, where the trial was held. Chase?
Mark, once that verdict was read out loud, there were actually outbursts from those inside the courtroom. The family of the man who was killed told me that justice was not served today.
I am so grateful to the jury for their verdict.
Shortly after being found not guilty, IRS Special Agent Larry Edward Brown Jr. spoke with us for the first time.
Express my serious condolences to the Bauer family.
He was acquitted Wednesday in federal court of involuntary manslaughter of a U.S. officer and the death of fellow Special Agent Patrick Bauer.
Pat was a great man. Pat was like a mentor to me. He was like a brother to me. I miss him every day.
Special Agent Bauer was a husband and father of 4 kids. In 2023, he and Brown, along with several other IRS agents, were at this federal facility in North Phoenix for pistol qualifications training. Bauer was a firearms instructor, and Brown was leading a classroom session. When training ended, court documents claim Brown accidentally shot Bauer in the chest. He later died at the hospital. Federal prosecutors claim Brown blatantly ignored firearm safety rules, but his defense called it a tragic accident.
Absolutely no winners in this case, and no one really is walking away happy.
Jeff Jacobson and Jason Lamb both represented Brown during the trial. They believe Bauer's death could have been prevented if the IRS had protocols in place for situations like this.
If the IRS had a plan back on August 17th, 2023, Patrick Bauer may very well be alive today.
Brown has been on unpaid leave since the shooting. His attorneys say Brown is still employed, but at this time it's unclear if he will be back on the job or not. Now, just about an hour ago, I did receive a statement from Patrick Bauer's parents and siblings, very disappointed with today's verdict. Part of that statement writes, "The jury got this dead wrong, and unfortunately today we feel like Larry Brown has taken Patrick twice from us. There was no question as to whether Brown shot my brother. It was appalling to sit and listen to the defense accuse the first responders for the death of Patrick. It is beyond me how a jury of 12 could agree that those who tried so hard to save him were ultimately more responsible for my brother's death than the man who pulled the trigger and killed him." If you wish to read the full family statement, you can find that on our website, 12news.com. We're live in Phoenix tonight. Chase Golightly, 12 News.
Chase, thank you. New tonight, Scottsdale police releasing new data on arrests and ejections at this year's WM Phoenix Open. Police say that they had just over 1,000 calls for service this year, with 63 arrests and 319 ejections. Now, those numbers are all higher than 2024's tournament. Scottsdale police say that that may be because of last year's bad weather, which brought less people out to the course for the first few days of golf. They add that part of this year's planning included a concerted effort to identify and address bad behavior at the tournament, therefore leading to more ejections.
The Maricopa County Sheriff's Office continues to have a problem with drugs at the Australia Jail in Phoenix, where 2 more inmates overdosed. The Sheriff's Office says it happened just before 6 o'clock last night. Both inmates were alert and breathing when they were taken to the hospital. This is the same jail that saw 12 overdoses just last week. One of those inmates died. Deputies say their current scanners can't detect drugs coming in, but they are working to get better technology.
Now to the state capitol, with Arizona voters now just one step closer to deciding whether state lawmakers should be immune from traffic tickets while they're in session. It comes amid recent high-profile speeding cases involving lawmakers that have raised questions about the immunity law. Today, an Arizona House committee voted 6-3 to send the measure to the ballot for the 2026 election. Some lawmakers say that the change is needed, while others argue more protection is needed out of fear that they could be given a ticket just for their political stances.
This is the time to be strengthening legislative immunity so that we can act independently and in defense of our constituents and their values without fear of what the executive branch might do or how they might try to interfere with our discharge of those duties.
If you are breaking the law, you get a ticket, pay your darn ticket. It's that simple. You don't need to make it seem as if you're somewhat special or more important than everybody else.
The resolution still needs the approval of the full House and Senate before it officially goes to the ballot next year.
Developing news out of Tucson tonight, where 2 planes collided in midair at the Marana Regional Airport. 2 people were killed in that crash. It happened around 8:30 this morning. One of the planes crashed and caught fire, killing the 2 people on board. The other plane miraculously was able to land safely. The 2 people on that plane walked away without any injuries.
Yeah, it's amazing that they were able to walk away from it, and we're glad that they're okay. Yeah, it's an unfortunate event.
Marana Regional Airport, like many small airports, doesn't have a control tower, meaning pilots are responsible for communicating their position to each other. The FAA and NTSB are investigating. and the airport is closed tonight as that investigation continues.